Bam! This is a total of 422 meters. This is as much yarn as I would have done like one of those skeins from my yellow rowing. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't spin a lot of yarn on spindles. 422, and that is not counting what is still left on my spindle. What? Okay. Yeah, I did that on spindles in 5 days. Nice, nice, nice. Very, very, very lovely and nice. Now, I could ply this one, but actually, I'm really feeling like getting behind the wheel again, so let's ply the yellow fluff. This yarn now accidentally has rested a week. I know this is a thing that some spinners say that you have to do anyway, and I mostly, even if not always, don't. So, on accident, I might be doing the good thing. You won't catch me doing this on purpose though. Slippy, slippy yarn. Now the sole and only reason why you won't catch me resting my yarn before I ply on purpose is that ain't nobody got time for that, especially not me, because I'm a little bit of an impatient disposition. Is it possible that this is better for your yarn? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tested it thoroughly. So I also have had no issues with my unrested plied yarns. Which is also not to say that you shouldn't rest your yarns, just that I don't want to. That's everything. And just as with everything, I am highly allergic to the philosophy that I call technique essentialism, that there is only one right way to do things. Nah. There is as many right ways to do things as there are people. Now, while this has been mentioned a couple of times over the course of these Tour de Fleece vlogs, it is finally time for our first plying bracelet. Just about this much. Yeah, let's get it on my arm. Did I just forget how to do a plying bracelet? What? That's not happening. No, of course it wasn't happening. It's just a momentary confusion. Let's lock this skein as well. It is 351.5 meters. Normally I'd also log the weight, but I don't have my scales with me, so I'll leave that open for now. I worked on this, I think from the 13th, to the 22nd of July 2026. I'm going to say it is another lace to fingering weight one. Now I also transfer all those numbers, well, mostly just the meters, to a different table. And what I do in this table actually is count how much I have spun throughout the years. Or well, specifically this is 2026 and then I also have 2025. What I do here is really just add but also multiply, because I note the full total length of a skein, but also I multiply it by the amount of singles plus 1. So if it is a 2-ply, it is times 3 to get the entire amount of yarn that has passed through my fingers. Which is also the reason that I don't write down the measurements after washing. I know that after wet finishing my yarn can shrink, I know this, but I am logging not how much yarn I have, but how much yarn I made. Like, you know, there is a semantic difference there. Even if the yarn shrinks, I still made all those meters. They have passed through my fingers. And I have still yet to do the calculations over here for the last 2 skeins that you saw, but I am already over 10 kilometers of yarn that has passed through my fingers in 2026. Yep, that is our 7th skein of the tour, and you know what this means.
New fiber.
I find, now that I've been spinning this Cary Hill for a little bit, that it wants to draft rather thin. Like, I know that the Fleece and Fiber source book says that down breeds and down adjacent breeds, because this is not a down breed but a down adjacent breed, are great for making sock yarn. And well, it is proving to be true that it wants to be about the thickness of sock yarn. I'm aiming actually for something that is in singles as thick as my previous yarns was plied. And it's taking a little bit more brain power and focus and concentration than just, you know, the lace weight yellow yarn. But that's good. Let's be mindful for once. I am a little bit frustrated with spinning this Cary Hill. Up until now, this has been one of the least pleasant spins that I have ever done. My yarn is very lumpy bumpy, and I would like it to not be lumpy bumpy. I had really high expectations for this Cary Hill, and it's letting me down a little bit. Maybe my expectations were too high. That could be a possibility. And I'm also not entirely blaming it on the sheep directly, because it could also just be that I messed up with scouring, with prepping. So one of the things that I wanted to try is I have just recarded whatever I have left of that bat and see if maybe either I didn't card enough times, or it got compressed, or yeah, I don't know, I packed it too thick. It feels lighter weight and less clumpy now that I've carded another time. Let's see. I hope this will fix my frustrations, because if I get frustrated, I find it really hard to continue doing a thing. Like, I want to just, I'm out of here. But it's to the fleece. I don't want to do that. Like, and it's already Thursday. I only have until Saturday to at least make something of this Cary Hill fleece. Let's see if just carding it a little bit more saves the Cary Hill for me. And as you can see, it is not for my lack of trying. I've got almost an entire bobbin full. But like, at sometimes my point of contact was so close between my two hands that you could almost say I was doing a short forward draft, which is not my plan. It still wants to go really fine, of course. But I do have a feeling it is not fighting me as much. Now, speaking of running away when things get frustrating, there is one craft that I have tried. Trust me, I have tried. That you will never see me do on this channel. Never. I'm not touching it again with a 10-foot pole. And that is punch needling. I know, this is marketed as such a stress-free, easy craft. That was my exact historical reenactment of my reaction to it. Like, I had a bit of monk's cloth, like a vintage bit of monk's cloth with a vintage pattern on it. And I got myself a punch needle and yarn, and I started. And it really, like, it destroyed the monk's cloth. And I was like, maybe I have a wrong punch needle, you know? It was quite thick. So I went to the craft store and got a thin punch needle. But the same thing happened again. If I still have the footage, here is some footage. Am I creating more stress for myself right now? Yeah. Too thick for this needle, like... Let's try something else. This is really turning into the most frustrating video you will have ever seen, I guess. I am sorry. I am out of light-hearted things to say about this craft. I'm just... Because, well, actually, this has just lost any kind of structural integrity. If I don't have the footage, you will have to believe me that it was one of the most frustrating craft experiences I have had in the past 5 years, and I will not touch punch needling ever again. That was... Nope, 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 nope. Nope. I hope that was clear. Now, conversely, there are also quite a bit of crafts that I haven't tried that I do think I will like and do think are very interesting. And one of those I recently picked up a book about on a local flea market. I got this book. Sprang. Yeah, I want to try Sprang one day. I don't know when, but I've got a resource. So if I want to start, I can. I think I have found a modus vivendi for this fiber and me. A modus pinvendi, if you will. Yeah, the extra carding has helped. And then I now also take small strips and pre-draft them a bit. Actually I'm pulling almost a roving from them. And then that gives me visual clues to where small clumps of really short fibers are hiding, because that is what I think was making it hard on me. There were these small clumps of really small, short, staple length fibers, not even centimeters, and they were really clumped together. Maybe they were broken off tips, possibly. And they were clumped, and that is what made me had to pull hard to get it out of there, to get the fiber to draft, which meant that, of course, afterwards the twist really just jumped after that clump of shorter fibers, making a slub. Right now, my yarn is still uneven, but it's uneven in what I would say is this gives the yarn character. This makes it look hand-spun. You don't want, I don't want a yarn that looks like it's been machine spun I want it to be visibly hand spun, but I want it to be visibly hand spun in a way that does not make my brain go, you clearly don't know what you're doing after 5 years of spinning, so what are you doing on other people's screens? Because when I get frustrated, my brain gets mean, especially to me. Yeah, we don't want that. So I'm glad that I found a way to more comfortably spin this yarn and spin this yarn in a way that aligns a bit more with my own expectations of what I wanted it to look like. Bobbin number 1 of the Cary Hill is done. It's now 9 o'clock. I think that's going to be it for today though. Hopefully I can get another one tomorrow, ply a bit on Saturday, and I don't know, maybe make an entire skate on Sunday. So little time, so little time. Now there is a chance, of course, that the frustration stemmed entirely from that one singular bat. I am, however, going to take the certain before the uncertain, and I will recard the next bat that I'm planning to spin. I know doing this for every new bobbin will cost me precious time, of which I have little, but I'd rather spend that time and not frustrated. Book haul? Book haul. This book, that's the last one that we got. It's just laying on top of the box, so I just grabbed it first. Splendid apparel. The craft of knitting is devoted to making useful things, and the craft of embroidery is devoted to making useful things beautiful. Splendid apparel brings these two crafts together. I got this one because it is splendid apparel. Like, the patterns in here are incredible. Especially this one is one that I want to make. Yeah, the designer is Anna Zilburg, or Zilburg, I don't know. But yeah, it gives really great examples of using embroidery and knitting together. I do not entirely agree that knitting is only used to making useful things, because we can make some pretty things as well, but yeah. I am very excited about the patterns in this book. The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. I had just in Canterbury finished The Mandarins by Simone de Beauvoir, so got to have this one as well, of course. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have heard a lot of great things about this book, and it was 50p, so... Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, which was like one of the classics that is still missing in my English classic literature shelf, and it was also 50p. Deborah Feldman, Unorthodox. I saw the Netflix series and I was like, how do you say this? Touched is not the same as Dutch geraakt. But yeah, I want to read it. I want to read that story because I think it will be much more touching in book form than it was in the series, even though I already thought the series was amazing. The Shadow of the Wind. This is one of my husband's purchases. His brother really loved this book, so yeah. Andy Weir's Artemis. My husband has just finished reading Project Hail Mary and really enjoyed it, so he is now, of course, on the search for all the other books. And we found this one. Maybe I should preface this, but now it's not a preface because it's in the middle, but these are all secondhand books that we found in charity shops in the UK, so like we didn't go to new bookstores. This was all like secondhand in the charity shops. We got a couple of John Green books. We also got Paper Towns, but my husband is currently reading that, so it is not in the box. You know, 50p. What are you going to do? Ken Follett's World Without End. I really enjoyed Pillars of the Earth, and this is the sequel, so I'm going to have quite some time reading in front of me, but yeah, I want to read this. English Heritage, Richborough and Reculver. We visited both, and oftentimes we just buy the booklets from historic places that we visit. Hugh Howey's Wool. It's another purchase of my husband. He said that this is a series he had read about and wanted to investigate. Audrey Niffenegger's The Time Traveler's Wife. I saw the movie with my mom like 10 years ago and I was devastated, and I'm so ready to get my heart broken again and again, but then in literary form. Because again, just as with Unorthodox, I think this is going to be so much better of an experience. Flann O'Brien at Two Swimbirds. Apparently this is an author that has greatly influenced the lyricist of Proto Martyr, and my husband is a fan of Proto Martyr. The Earthsea Quartet, because of course we have now both read The Lathe of Heaven and like Ursula Le Guin a lot. So yeah, we were very thrilled to find this one. Stephen Fry's Troy, also very thrilled to find this one because I already have Mythos and Heroes, so this concludes the collection. I showed this one in a previous vlog. The complete book of traditional Fair Isle knitting. Yeah. This needs no explanation, right? And then Jane Waller's Knitting Fashions of the 1940s Styles, Patterns and History. Also needs no explanation. I am also very, very excited for some of the patterns that are in here. I am thinking that they might be like a good candidate for my yellow yarn, like this one over here. So pretty. And I love that there is like the 1940s examples next to it. Yeah, like a lot of them are just simply textured, and that's what I think will make that yellow varied yarn shine. Thomas Hardy's Wessex Tales, a 1967 edition, I think. I am a Hardy girl. I am so much a Hardy girl. Yesterday finished the Woodlanders, and oh my god, I am broken by it. Hardy just knows how to tug on my heartstrings so much. No classical writer has this effect on me. Not Austen, not the Bronte sisters, but Hardy. I love Hardy. And I didn't have the Wessex Tales yet. And then finally, castles. Because what you see over here is my husband's collection of books on European castles. Because we are, in fact, I will never deny this, nerds. Were there any books that you particularly love already, or that you have on your TBR, or that you really want to find yourself one day? So, as you might be able to tell, my second bobbin is done. Suddenly, that went so smooth and swimmingly. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that yesterday's frustration was the one-off and not this. Because if this is going to be the rest of that fleece, then I'm taking all back what I might have said in a mean frustration mood about Cary Hill. This was nice spinning. I wouldn't say that it is extraordinarily soft or just extraordinary in any other kind of way, but it was just a pleasant medium wool spin. But all remains to be seen with the rest of the bats, of course. Tomorrow morning I shall first ply these two together, and now we have our first Cary Hill skein. Very, very, very good. First, I'm going to start editing this vlog, then I'm going to select a book to read. I don't know which one I'll read first. Maybe The Time Traveler's Wife, or maybe Project Hail Mary. I don't know. I'll tell you tomorrow what my pick is. And did you now see me just change direction of my brake band on my wheel? Yes, yes you did. That was a tip that one of you sent me over Instagram. And it's been working nicely actually. It's just to turn the brake band thus that the spring is going in the direction that your bobbin is turning. Here we go, our first, well, not entirely finished because we still have to wet finish it, but finished Cary Hill skein. And I must say, I feared it would look a lot more uneven, but you know, Plying does hide so many inconsistencies, so that is proven once again. It's quite okay yarn, it's quite decent. And it feels like, you know, the kind of medium wool that I like working with. The chungus. And I did evidently also succeed in spinning a little bit of a thicker yarn than I was up until now doing. I think this is like a sport weight or something, which means that while this chungus looks almost as big as the yellow one, it's not. My yellow ones are all like 300 plus meters, and this is about 259 meters, so clearly denser, thicker yarn, which is exactly what I wanted. So on the penultimate day of Tour de Fleece, this is our little basket. I mean, minus the purple skein. Where is that? Probably where the jamming session is currently taking place. Yeah, I don't think as much as I actually hoped to be able to achieve this Tour de Fleece, but then I kind of forgot that we were going on holiday, and while 422 meters is a lot to spin on spindles, it might have set me a little bit back in comparison to the previous years. However, it is the penultimate day. We still have tomorrow, and tomorrow is a Sunday, and I have nothing else to do than spin, so I am curious to see what I can do with a Cary Hill in a day, because if I have the same quality of fleece as I had yesterday, then I could be zooming and I could go very fast and maybe make another full skein. Who knows? That will be the mystery that you will see in the next video. Now, the mystery for this video, I picked Project Hail Mary as my next book to read. I mean, I have started reading in it. Up until now, this feels like the way I message my friends about stuff. Yeah, it comes very natural to read it, because it's like my brain works kind of like the same way. Anyway, first Cary Hill skein done, which means that's like the fourth of this video, right? Yeah? 4 skeins, 1 video. Lovely. Yes, I will see you on Wednesday, but here is of course a selection of what Team Chaos Goblin has been doing the past couple of days. And if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans and want to follow along for the final installment of Tour de Fleece, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course it's all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in the next video, and here is the rest of the Tour de Fleece playlist. Bye!